A few years ago, I was doing a performance. Everything was going perfectly, but there was a little bit of the air conditioning hitting the bucket. All that did was make it have this wobble that I've never seen before. Every single time I've done a pendulum, it's been in this super climate controlled area. There's no direct air on it, so I get those crisp lines, but that wobble was so beautiful, and people asked me how I replicated that, and at the time, I had no idea until in retrospect, a couple years later, I finally figured it out. But why have I never replicated it in a vacuum, per se, with different fans? So today, we've got a box fan, we've got a tower fan, and of course, everybody's favorite, the insane leaf blower. The plan is to have the pendulum swinging off to the side and this blowing. We're gonna go from lightest to strongest, and specifically with that tower fan, that oscillation back and forth consistently should make something interesting, especially once it starts to dial into the center. So we're gonna be using something a little bit smaller pendulum-wise, a little bit smaller canvas, so we can really get that detailed line. And I might actually play with the height of the pendulum, because the actual like stream of the paint, that also might be influenced by the air as well. So we'll give it a bunch of tries, see what happens. One quick note is that all of these things are loaned to me, so we cannot get paint on them. We cannot get paint on them, Cole. Okay, so here's canvas number one. A little bit bigger than I first intended, but I kind of like the size. We'll be able to really see what happens. And then off to the side, we've got our box fan. I'm basically just gonna kind of line it up with the canvas and just keep it blowing. I'm gonna do the lowest setting on the fan. On the oscillating fan, I'll do a higher setting to see how that affects. But I don't know, I'm just gonna use some colors. We're gonna have some fun. It might do nothing, and we'll just kind of sit here and yap, but it might do something cool. All right, pendulum starts. Time for the fan. I hope you guys can still hear me. This is an experiment to see how much the fan affects the canvas, and we are seeing an effect. Whoa, look at that squiggly line every time. So it seems like it's affecting the actual stream more than anything, more than the actual canvas or bucket per se. The bucket is weighted, but this is wonky. Like right in here, you can see it make an S shape every single time. Look at that. Okay, I like this. I'm looking for I want somebody to look like they're writing it with a shaky hand, and it seems like that's what we're getting. And it's consistent too, that's the cool part. I can really play with this, especially now that we're seeing the whole line show up. Whoa, look at that. And it might actually perpetuate the pendulum to swing more too. You can even see up close, the line is really getting pushed off to the side the entire time. We're just doing one swing, because this is the coolest thing ever. This is even the lightest fan, so these next ones I might have to keep further away, because this is just gonna be a mess. All right, here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Got it. All right. Test number one is done. Look how the pendulum was influenced so much on these different swings, especially in here. I'm so excited to play with this more, and it's really interesting how you can see the pattern is nice, and then once it gets closer to the fan, it starts to wobble like crazy. When we do the blow dryer, I might actually pump it up to where it's touching the string versus actually touching the stream, if that makes any sense. Okay, so here's our oscillating fan. We can turn it on by just pressing this. It'll oscillate, see it spinning back and forth. And we've got our canvas here. Probably gonna do maybe a blue color or something like that. And I'm thinking a top-down angle might be interesting for you guys. So stay tuned, we'll be here in a sec. All right, take number 2 of the fan pendulum. This one's a little bit lighter. I thought this would be the heaviest flow of air besides the leaf blower, which is next, but it seems to be the lightest. We may not even get any influence. There's a little bit right here. I was hoping because it's oscillating, we get something consistent but erratic at the same time. So we'll get a bunch of the same swings and then bam, different swing, if that makes any kind of sense. So we get some weirdness, but it looks like this is just gonna be kind of a normal pendulum painting, which don't have a huge problem with that. It's just a cheapo oscillating fan, so I guess I could pick up something a little bit heavier that might have more flow. The box fan is much stronger than this one, funny enough. And it seems like it's not affecting this right side, but affecting the left side, like ever so slightly. So if you can see that, let me know, but most likely you can't. Oh, there we go. Now you can see it. Slightest little line there, little wobble. Okay. I don't know. Maybe it's interesting, maybe it's not. Probably the latter. You can see it there. Right there. It jumps just the slightest little bit. Okay, next, when we do the leaf blower, I'm doing two different ideas. The first one is very low, so it affects just the lines. And the second one is high, so it affects the string and doesn't affect the bucket. Because I think if it affects the bucket, it's just gonna launch it to the side because of how heavy it is. But in this case, we get something a little bit lighter that we can really see the slight effect. Because you can see it bunches up right there, and it's a nice clean line over here. So you may be able to see, yeah, there you go, right? Another wobble right there. Maybe it looks like nothing. Maybe you can see it. Depends on the angle. Depends on what platform you're on. All right, here we go. Not my favorite, but what can you do? 3, 2, 1. Got it. Perfect exit. See you guys later. This should be a mess. Probably just gonna do that one swing with the paint blower very low because I don't want it to affect the bucket. So I might even raise the bucket up a bit. I don't know. I'm just gonna hit go and see what happens. Okay, here we go. Leaf blower in 3, 2, 1. 2, 1. Got it. Wow! I don't think it gets much better than this when it comes to this blow dryer. Maybe I scoot it back a little bit, but I think this is the end of the video. This is peak. This is spectacular. Imagine this with the different colors, something crazy. Next idea is we're gonna make ferrofluid paint. That was so much fun, guys. I am so sweaty because it was so loud and I have so many other people in my studio space. I'm so sorry to them, but to everyone else, thank you for watching. Not sorry to you guys. I appreciate you guys and hope you stay for the next one where we make ferrofluid paint, which should be interesting.